Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Stand Up for STEM Awards webinar hosted by the Texas Girls Collaborative Project. I'm Trisha Berry. I'm the collaborative lead for the Texas Girls Collaborative Project and thrilled about today's webinar to showcase some of our past Stand Up for STEM awardees and to talk to you about the opportunity to apply for this year. Let me tell you just a little bit about the Texas Girls Collaborative Project as well as the Million Women Mentors Texas effort, because that all connects in with the Stand Up for STEM awards that we'll be talking about today. The Texas Girls Collaborative Project exists to connect and support all the organizations and individuals across the state who are working hard to motivate and inform and excite girls to pursue careers in STEM. We are part of the National Girls Collaborative Project, so there are collaboratives like us all across the country who are doing this work trying to get more girls in STEM. Million Women Mentors is another nationwide initiative, and here within Texas, it falls as one of the organizational efforts of the Texas Girls Collaborative Project. And it exists to support the engagement of STEM mentors, those role models and volunteers and mentors who we know are critically important to help increase that interest and confidence in girls and to help them persist and succeed in STEM. So we're excited about the webinars that we will be doing over the next several months to incorporate both Texas Girls Collaborative Project content as well as Million Women Mentors Texas focused initiatives. So some of the things that we do across the state are things like regional networking forums to connect and support collaborations with organizations across the state. We have regional Google groups that are available to share information around STEM across the state and throughout regions. We have a leadership team and regional leadership teams across the state who are paying attention to what's going on and helping to connect the dots and support organizations where possible. We also have Texas STEM Connections, which I'll talk about a little bit more at the end of this presentation. And that's our STEM volunteer matching system. You can think of it kind of like a STEMvolunteermatch.com, where educators and organizations looking for STEM volunteers and mentors and role models can put in requests and get connected with STEM professionals to help them out in their efforts. We also do a number of things to disseminate best practices and research and resources. And the webinar series is one of the ways that we do that. We also have a Texas Women and Girls in STEM Summit that you'll also hear a little bit more about at the end of this presentation, a monthly e-newsletter, this webinar series, and workshops that we do on curriculum that is designed to engage girls in STEM. Lots of activity that we're trying to accomplish across the state. Our Stand Up for STEM Awards, we are excited to be in our third year of offering these to our community, and we award these at the Texas Women and Girls in STEM Summit in December. This year, we've expanded to have 6 total categories where we will be awarding the Stand Up for STEM Awards. We have a mentor, educator, collegiate, and high school award that are focused on individuals in those spaces. In the collegiate and high school spaces, it could also be for an organization in the college or high school arena. The corporate award and the educational organization award recognize organizations in those 2 different spaces that are doing amazing work in STEM mentoring and role modeling. So today, what we're aiming to do is to highlight some of our past Stand Up for STEM award recipients, so that you can hear a little bit from them about what they are doing to advance gender equity in STEM and to connect STEM role models and mentors in their spaces. We have PepsiCo, who will be up first, and then you'll hear from the Frontiers of Flight Museum. Then at the end, we'll talk just briefly about the Stand Up for STEM award process and the deadlines that are coming up, a little bit more about the Texas Women and Girls in STEM Summit, so you can hopefully put that on your calendar and plan to join us. And then we'll wrap up with a highlight of Texas STEM Connections and FabFems, which are 2 portals, online tools that we have for connecting STEM volunteers with STEM volunteer opportunities in our communities across the state. So with that, we're going to kick it right into our first presentation. I do want to mention that we have the chat box open and available, and if you have questions as we're going throughout, feel free to put them in that chat box, and we'll make sure that we have time to get through those as we go along. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anna with PepsiCo to take us from here.
Thank you, Tricia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to share with you one of the many programs sponsored by Million Women Mentors at PepsiCo. PepsiCo is a platinum sponsor of MWM and has mentor groups in New York, Florida, Illinois, Texas, and even in other countries such as Ireland and Pakistan. MWM at PepsiCo is a signature program of PepsiCo's STEM Council, which was established in 2014 to develop a pipeline of science, technology, engineering, and math talent, which is so vital to the company's long-term success. As PepsiCo was the 2018 winner of the corporate category of this award, I have a quick, related, humorous story to share. Last week, I got an email from someone who I knew who was looking for some background information about MWM and the STEM Council at PepsiCo. I forwarded her request on to someone who had more data than I did. And then as an afterthought, I sent her the application for this award from last year. It turns out that the person who was asking her for this information was affiliated with an external group that we have done some educational work with, and they were planning to nominate PepsiCo for this award this year. We're definitely honored, but we don't want to hog the award either. So I found that quite interesting. A little bit about me. My name is Anna Swinney. I live in Plano, and I've been with PepsiCo for 30 years this very month. I'm a seasoned IT professional, and I'm currently co-lead of PepsiCo's Texas chapter of Million Women Mentors. You are probably highly familiar with PepsiCo for their sodas, our sodas. What you may not be aware of is that PepsiCo is also the parent company of other brands you know and love, like Frito-Lay, Gatorade, Tropicana, and Quaker. PepsiCo is a global company with over 26,000 employees worldwide. Over 100,000 of those employees work in the US. I want you to keep that in mind until later in the presentation. You probably think of fun foods and drinks when you consider PepsiCo. What you probably don't think of is how important science, technology, engineering, and math are to those products. These are just a few of the types of STEM workers who are valuable to PepsiCo's success. But today I'd like to share with you about one specific program that Million Women Mentors at PepsiCo has developed. We call it the PepsiCo Daughters Program, and it was launched earlier this year. The program came about because many of our mentors also have daughters and wanted them to have the benefit of STEM mentoring. The goal of the program is to offer STEM mentoring to the daughters of PepsiCo employees, regardless of where that employee works, what level they're at, or what role they're in. That's where that number that I shared earlier comes in. PepsiCo has about 110,000 employees in the United States. Many of them are parents who have teenage or college-age daughters. That's a lot of potential mentees. As we are in our first year of the program, we consider ourselves to be in pilot mode. We started with almost 60 high school and college-age daughters from across the country. Almost half of the mentors, though, came from the Texas MWM chapter, and we're proud of that. We did our best to pair mentors and mentees based on their interests, location, and time zone. That wasn't an easy job to do. We asked that the pairs commit to 10 to 20 hours over the course of a year. Engagements might be in person, but sometimes they're also via technology such as FaceTime or Skype. or text messaging. Some relationships are 100% technology enabled, since some of the mentees are in college or they may live in areas where we don't have an active MWM presence. We don't want to leave them out of the process. From a high-level perspective, here's how the logistics work. Honestly, this pattern can work with almost any mentoring partnership. First, we advertise to the parents at work to generate interest. Then the parents and daughters were given an electronic application form to fill out. I think it was a Survey Monkey, and a deadline date. Once we knew how many people had applied, we began recruiting additional mentors. We had a bench, but we also used internal media to recruit some additional mentors. Then we paired the daughters with the mentors based on their interests and time zone and location, as I mentioned. When everything was ready to go, we held kickoff. We held big in-person events in Purchase, New York, and in Plano here in Texas. And then for daughters and parents who were not able to attend those kickoffs, we held online meetings using WebEx as an online tool, but there are many that can be used. While they were at the kickoff, the mentors and mentees met each other for the first time and planned how they would interact throughout the year. And in fact, they set up their first time to get together at that point in time. It was also nice that the mentors got to meet the parent at that point in time. I should note that since many of the daughters are under 18, we do have processes in place to ensure their safety, such as meeting in a public place or where other adults are around. After the kickoffs, each pair has been growing their relationship independently. There's not a lot of central governance in that space. However, we want to grow the program as well. So we have taken stock of what has worked and what needs improvement, and we'll continue to do that as the year progresses. And then we'll take those learnings and feed them back into the next cycle, because we do intend to do this again. The Daughters Program is one of many STEM-related programs here at PepsiCo. However, it is one that we are very excited about. We've had inquiries from our Human Resources Department about the possibility of expanding the program beyond the realm of women and beyond the realm of STEM to all genders and other professions. We're excited about being on the forefront of something that could be even bigger than us. Thank you for the opportunity to share this with you today.
Thanks so much.
And I'll give it back to you, Tricia.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. Awesome. It's exciting to see this program, and what a great story to tell, and something that hopefully others will consider to embrace and do in their own spaces. That's fabulous. Thank you. So now we're going to turn it over to the Frontiers of Flight Museum to hear about their program and one of the reasons why they received the Educational Organization Award this past year. Alicia?
Thank you, Tricia. So I consider working at Frontiers of Flight Museum a full circle moment for me, because my background is actually aerospace engineering. So I attended Tuskegee University and graduated in aerospace engineering, and New Mexico State and graduated in industrial engineering. So it's full circle for me, because a lot of the companies that we work with, such as Boeing and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, were companies that I worked with while I was in industry. To give you a little background, the mission of Frontiers of Flight Museum is to educate, motivate, and inspire all ages across North Texas in aviation and spaceflight history. So we consider ourselves a learning laboratory. We have a lot of cool, one-of-a-kind items. And so what you're seeing in front of you is what we call our Frontier Flyer. So students can actually come to the museum, and it's a learning tool. They learn about the forces of flight. They're able to use the control systems. And so it's a really unique experience from your typical museum, where whatever they're learning in school through Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, we're applying it to all of our education programs. So when we tell the teachers that whatever they're learning in schools, this is a practical application. So that's always great for students to be able to have that experience. So when I started at the museum in 2017, so back in 2012, the museum was serving about 5,000 students. And over the years, we progressed. And last year, we actually reached 42,000 students. So as you can see, we have already exceeded our 2021 goal. So what does that look like for us? So each year, we reach over 42,000 students, as I mentioned. And we do this through a number of ways. One of them is through camps. So we have Spring Break Camp, and we have a unique program called our Young Women STEM Leadership Initiative. It's actually how we were recognized. So each year, we reach over 2,100 girls through this program. We provide mentoring opportunities, leadership opportunities. They start the program in 6th grade. By the time they're in high school, they can actually become leaders of our spring break camps and our summer camps. And so this is one of our unique things that we say that we offer is this multiple exposures, because we can say that you can have a one-off experience to STEM, but when you can say you come from multiple tours and programs and special events, last year the students had an opportunity to meet Dr. Christine Darden, who's actually featured in the book Hidden Figures. So you're meeting women who are pioneers in STEM, and so this provides them those unique opportunities. We also have a portable planetarium called Spock. So if you imagine a big dome that the students can come inside of, and it's controlled by a game controller, and they can actually explore the solar system. So everything it has relates to astronomy. We also have the Apollo 7, which is the first manned mission in space. So we have all these unique opportunities for students to see something that actually happened in STEM. And we have just opened our new space gallery, which includes an omni-globe. So outside of the planetarium, you can also have a globe that explores the solar system and weather patterns. And because this is Texas, we have a Texas space history kiosk, so where they can learn all about Texas space history, including careers in NASA. So it's very unique opportunities for students to have these multiple exposures. And we reach over 60% of students, and they come from low-income schools. And through this Young Women STEM Leadership Initiative, as we talked about, is like, how can we ensure that the students are retaining the information? So we have pre and post assessment guides. So we test their knowledge before they're coming to our programs and after their programs. And we have a third-party data management system through the Center for Nonprofit Management that makes sure that our data integrity is aligned with what the students are learning. And we actually monitor that throughout the school year. So we're happy to say that 100% of our students have demonstrated an increase in their leadership skills and confidence while working in a team. And as Anna mentioned earlier about PepsiCo expanding their programs, because of the success of the Young Women STEM Leadership Initiative, we are expanding to not only still reach those girls each year, but a youth STEM initiative where we will reach boys and girls students. We started last year and piloted at an elementary school that's right, a neighborhood school. So we are actually expanding to go to 3rd through 5th grade, because research says if the earlier you expose students to STEM, they're more likely to continue that interest. So we are happy and excited about that. So I appreciate this opportunity today to talk about our programs. If you want to learn more about us, you can visit us at flightmuseum.com. Thank you, Tricia, and thank you for this extraordinary opportunity to share our programs. And we were excited to receive that Education Stand Up for STEM award last year.
Thanks so much, Alicia. Another great example of how important mentors and role models are and the impact that they can have on our students. And that increase in leadership skills and confidence we know is definitely important to get students heading into those STEM spaces. So that's fabulous. Thank you again for sharing. And you have this slide, Alicia. We missed one of your slides, but I think you talked about this a little bit. If you want to come back on and finish this up, you're welcome to.
Yes, so we talked about if you want to know if your programs are impacting your students. Erica Rivera, which she started off in our program through our spring break camps in the 6th grade. So she's been there since 6th grade, and now she's a high school sophomore. And she said when she came to the museum, she thought that all that women could be were flight attendants. And so as she saw at one of our exhibits about Amelia Earhart, she was excited, and now she wants to become a pilot. So this is truly a success story. And last year summer, actually, Erica was one of our interns. So it's great to see her expanding in her leadership capabilities and having the desire to pursue a career in STEM.
That's amazing. Thank you. And that's a perfect example as well. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And so to give her that opportunity to see it, and now she wants to take that on. So that's amazing. Thank you. All right. So hopefully now you're all fired up to apply for your very own Stand Up for STEM awards, or maybe you know of an amazing mentor, educator out there, some company that you've worked with or a company that you work at that is doing fabulous things within the STEM space and really encouraging students to consider those STEM careers. We have the award information all available on our Texas Girls Collaborative Project website. There's a big banner on the homepage, or you could head to the Stand Up for STEM page that is listed here on this slide. The deadline to apply is September 30th, so that's coming up fast. So I encourage you to check those out. You can read all the details about the criteria and a little bit more about each award on the website. The awards will be presented at this year's Texas Women and Girls in STEM Summit, which will be on Friday, December 6th on the UT Austin campus. It will be a full day of presentations and workshops and panels of individuals and organizations across our state who are there to share their best practices, to collaborate with others, to listen and learn, and really to work to advance gender equity in STEM across all spaces. Last year, we had a very strong industry track with panels ranging from conversations around women's affinity groups to how to retain women through family-friendly policies and working mother policies. We had a number of presentations around how to run hands-on activities and summer camps and a variety of activities in the K-12 space or pre-K through 12 space. We had stuff in the early childhood realm. So a whole host of programming that we're anticipating for this year as well. If you are interested in proposing a session and preparing some information to share with the community about what you're doing or best practices, the deadline to propose sessions is September 30th. So that is also coming up soon, and all the information, again, is on our Texas Girls Collaborative Project website. Registration for this event will also be opening up at the beginning of October, so stay tuned for that. We will be sharing that out widely as soon as it's ready to go. I just wanted to remind people, when it comes to mentoring and volunteering, which we've been talking about with our Stand Up for STEM awards and our two presentations, one of the ways that we foster those connections across the state is through Texas STEM Connections. It's an online portal that is powered by NEPRIS that allows for in-person as well as virtual connections between educators and classrooms and students and STEM professionals. It's easy to make a request. The system looks somewhat like this. If you're looking for STEM volunteers, you will sign in as an educator. If you're wanting to be that volunteer or mentor, you would sign in as a professional. If you are one of those types of folks who end up in both of those categories, maybe you are leading a STEM night at your kid's school, but you're also a STEM professional. So sometimes you're the educator looking for volunteers. Sometimes you are that volunteer. You can just email the address that's in the system, and we can get you connected into both sides of the portal. Otherwise, if you're going in as an educator, you can make requests for in-person events. You can make requests for virtual sessions, and you can make requests for out-of-school time, field trips, internships, summer camp opportunities, a number of request categories that are in the system. If you're a professional, you can go into the system and you can search on your zip code and find requests that are nearby to you. On the virtual side, you can search for opportunities to visit with classrooms virtually across the globe in areas that you have expertise in. So it's a great opportunity to get connected in. I call it our STEMvolunteermatch.com portal. So it's intended to be a super easy one-stop shop for finding STEM volunteers and finding STEM volunteer opportunities. We also advocate for all of our STEM volunteers and role models who are out there to join into fabfems.org. This is an online STEM role model database of fabulous female STEM role models all across the globe. And what's beautiful about this system is that this is a place where students can actually go in and search. There's a pretty extensive keyword search and drop-down menu search. So if a student, for example, is trying to find someone who's in a particular STEM field that they want to reach out to, they can search for that in a keyword. They can search for that in the interest drop-down. They can search based on ethnicity. They can search based on location. And we're looking always to continue to add in STEM role models to showcase the wide variety of options and opportunities and career paths that are out there for students. One of the nice things about this system is that as a role model, you can indicate how you want to be communicated with or how you want to engage within the system, whether you just want your profile listed for people to see and read about you and explore, or if you're open to people emailing you, students emailing you through the system, if you're willing to meet with people one-on-one for an information session, that's available as well. But you get to choose how you want to be in the system and how you want to be contacted. The system also asks you to add in some of your personal story. So it's not just about your STEM career pathway, but it's about you as a person. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do to hopefully help students see that you can be a whole person and be a STEM professional all at the same time. So if you're not a Fab Fem already, I encourage you to go in and add yourself to that system as well. So with that, I just wanted to give a shout out to our upcoming webinar series. On Monday, October 7th from 4 to 4:30, we will be doing a mini session of the Texas Girls curriculum called Role Models Matter. It is a presentation and workshop that comes out of TechBridge, a nonprofit in the Bay Area that has focused on engaging girls in STEM. And it talks through how to be an effective STEM role model. What does some of the research say around best practices in messaging and in engagement that's going to engage those girls in STEM? On Wednesday, November 6th from 12 to 12:30, we'll do a quick Texas Women and Girls in STEM Summit preview, hoping to highlight and maybe have some flash talks, hopefully, of some of our presenters that are confirmed to get people excited about what they're going to find when they come. And then last but not least, after the summit, we're aiming to do a similar thing where we'll give some snippets and highlights. We'll have our new Stand Up for STEM awardees that we'll be able to highlight, and we'll make that one a little bit longer to be able to showcase much of what's being done. So with that, I want to once again thank Anna and PepsiCo for their amazing work to engage all those daughters across PepsiCo in STEM. And thank you to Alicia for sharing her story and for sharing the great work that's happening at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. Hopefully you could see why both of those were selected as our most recent awardees in 2018. I encourage you all to apply, and we look forward to having a whole new batch of awardees in December. Thanks, everyone. Have a fabulous day.